Hello and welcome, friends and fellow Hyperborean warriors. In honor of today's subject, I've decided to have a wonderful, healthy, and filling glass of milk whilst recording this video, mixed with a little bit of creatine so that it can help keep the pump going while I'm working out later on. I hope you all have a glass of milk as well, because we're going to be sharing a toast to the healthiest man on the planet and his absolutely insane Twitter page. So, this is a man I know of tangentially, right? I do not know what it was that he did before he became the health freak guy who doesn't want to die, but Brian Johnson is known to me, and probably you as well, as a man who is trying to currently conquer death. And you can tell that he's doing a fantastic job of it at the moment, because instead of having a picture of his actual face, he has this very highly edited AI version of his face as his profile picture that makes him look like some kind of skinwalker android in his mid-20s. But this man is completely obsessive and is going to extreme lengths to ensure that he doesn't die, that he conquers death. It's even in his bio here, which says conquering death would be humanity's greatest achievement. Now, for my own philosophical reasons, I disagree. I think being able to fulfill achievements within a specific lifetime is greater than simply conquering death. I think that the fear of death is one of the great things of tension that we all hold within us that push us to do great things. But that's neither here nor there. He is very, very hard on to his message of don't die. And you can tell that that's what he wants to do because it's in his headline as well. Don't die. A very, very simple message. So what is it that he's doing to prevent himself from dying? Well, first of all, he promotes a lot of his work and has become very famous for it, and he's even got a Netflix documentary, The Man Who Wants to Live Forever, Don't Die. Again, this looks incredibly suspect, incredibly dystopian, but again, I won't comment on that. Let's just see what it is that this man does to ensure that he doesn't die and what his beliefs are to live forever, why he wants to live forever, how he plans on living forever. So he posts a lot of work talking about biological age. I believe that he's in his mid-40s or something, and he was posting about how through all of these treatments and processes that he goes through, that he is reversing his biological age. His biological age is like 5 years before what his actual age is at the moment. So you can go through his timeline and find a lot of stuff like this, diagrams that most people won't bother to read. And then you can find stuff like this, where he appeared on the Jake Paul's Impulsive podcast and was talking about how he says, "Oh, my son is my best friend." And I watched this clip, and it's him and his 19-year-old son talking about why the son is a blood donor for his father and his grandfather. This was the first ever tri-generational blood transfusion of blood from his son to his father and his grandfather. So kind of like a leech, Brian Johnson is using his own son's blood to try to stay healthy. You're only in your mid-40s, mate. You can actually stay pretty healthy for a good long age if you just take care of yourself. And again, this is just very strange. This is very strange. If my father had come to me and said, "Listen, Harry, I need a blood transfusion, and you're the only person I can get it from," I would first ask why. And if he told me that it wasn't for some degenerative disease, wasn't to save him from some kind of life-threatening illness that was going on right then, and he's just like, "Well, I just think it'll make me feel a bit younger," I'd say, "No, Dad, that's a very, very strange request. It's vampiric, it's blood-sucking, it's kind of boomer," because as we all know, the boomer mindset, and this does not necessarily apply to actual boomers, this is just a generational mindset that can also be with Gen Xers and millennials and all sorts. But the boomer grindset has been leech your children so you live forever. And this is a particularly literal example of that. I'm just going to skip past this one very quickly because we'll go to that in a moment. He predicts that in 5 years, he will just be a normal dude doing normal things. You're well past that. You're never coming back. You'll always be that freak. He does all of these tests on his measurement days so that he can try out and find out his telomere length, his biological organ ages and speed of aging, SpO2, microbiome, microplastics, pro-inflammation, anti-inflammation. Now, I respect if this is what he wants to do, but again, the man's only in his 40s, right? And if you're trying to extend your life as long as possible, possibly forever, you've also got to take into account this thing called quality of life. And if this is all your life is just for the kind of self-perpetuation of yourself, if that's all your life is, if that's what every moment of your life is taken up by, then you can't be living that much of a worthwhile life. You're living just for the sake of living, whereas you should be living for the sake of other things. Although this man is offering himself up as a human guinea pig, if somebody's got to do it, and somebody was going to do it, fair play to him for trying. He also talks about how in this impulsive clip, world's healthiest man reveals 1 burger equals 20 minutes off of your life. I really hate this kind of way of looking at food. Would you pay 20 minutes of your life for a fast food meal? Okay, the question I'm going to ask here is, okay, 20 minutes of my life compared to what? Compared to eating something specifically more nutritional? Because there's going to be a positive and a negative to this, right? Okay, which is that, okay, maybe it grants me 20 less minutes of life than eating a salad or something. But by the fact that you're taking in calories and other nutrients which your body needs to function, by eating a burger, which, let's be fair, it's not dirt, it's not sugary sweets, it's a burger, it's got protein, it's got fat, it's got carbohydrates in it. Yeah, it can have trans fats and other things that people don't think are as good for you, but it's still got nutrients that your body needs to survive, right? What you're actually doing is extending your life. And I don't understand, people are still in this kind of supersize me mindset where they watch a documentary from 20 years ago where a man did nothing but eat McDonald's all day, every day, and they just assume that that means all fast food is always bad for you under every circumstance. The thing is, it might not be as good for you, but it's still a lot better for you than not eating anything at all. So I really hate this this kind of framing of food. He's constantly tracking everything to do with his life. And if I keep scrolling down, there's this one here. And this comes back to the quality of life thing. Okay? It says, I don't eat red meat. And I'm going to explain to you why. Number 1, my goal is longevity, and other foods outlined in my Don't Die Nutrition Guide have more robust evidence for longevity. So again, this is all comparative. So if you eat a delicious, juicy, nutritional, protein-rich, creatine-rich red meat steak, you're going to get, say, 30 minutes extra life. But if you eat this horrible food, which isn't as nutritious or good for you in these different ways, I've got studies that prove that it gives you 40 extra minutes of life. And again, I say at that point, well, let's stop splitting hairs, and let's say that actually I'd rather have the red meat steak. And then he goes on to say, is red meat good or bad? The evidence tilts towards red meat possibly creating health risks, which is enough of a reason to exclude it from the protocol. That's an incredibly cut and dry, black and white way of looking at food. Again, red meat is good for you. In my experience, red meat is good for you. There have been studies done which suggest that red meat, if eaten in excess, can lead to heart disease. I do not think that those studies are very well done, because if you start to look into them, you find that the people conducting those studies did not control for other lifestyle markers from the people who were the test subjects. So yeah, they might eat a lot of red meat, but they might eat a lot of ice cream, they might smoke a lot of cigarettes, they might drink constantly. These things were not taken into account. It was just the difference in how much red meat. So I do not think that there is robust evidence to show that red meat is bad for you. In fact, I would go the opposite way, say red meat is very good for you. Eat beef, eat steak, have a good time. It's good for you and it tastes great. So again, for the sake of living forever, he's going to make his quality of life as bad as possible. He's going to spend every waking moment of his life worrying about death, thinking about death, having to go through all of these different protocols to make sure that his biological age is as low as possible, while denying himself all of the pleasures that come from a life well lived. And then he just does some really, really weird stuff, man. I can't find a better way to put it. This is the one that got everybody's attention, right? You can see here, 7.1 million views. What this is, nighttime erection data from my 19-year-old son and me. His duration is 2 minutes longer than mine. Raise children to stand tall, be firm, and be upright. Good one, you got us there. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you... Why? How do you track something like this? Your son's 19 years old, right? And you're tracking his nighttime erection. What the hell are you doing? Is this what you want to do with your life? Is this how you want to live your life? How does this make you live longer? This must be some kind of marker for biological age. Oh my God, how many erections you get during the night and how long they last. But good God, you freak! You maniac! Again, if my dad ever came to me saying something like this, listen, Harry, man, you know I'm trying to live forever. Yeah, Dad, how's that going? Oh, it's going great, but I need to do something. Okay, Dad, I need some comparisons for things. Oh, all right, do you want to, I don't know, go to the gym and we can see how strong you are? Do you want to stress out your cardiovascular health? Do you want to do this and that? No, Harry. I want to measure how long you get erections in your sleep. I'm cutting ties. I don't need an inheritance. I don't need long-term support. I don't need anything from this man anymore. Get away from me, you freak. Brian Johnson, what the hell are you doing? If you do live forever, I think, at least you'll have succeeded in that. But good God, what a tragedy your life must be.